Hey guys, it's Connor, and this is another Soapbox Games episode for you. And for those who don't know, I'm gonna get right into it today. There's no, oh, what are we talking about? I'm getting right into it, okay? So last week, yeah, that's right. Last week were the Keeleys, aka the Game Awards, and overall, I have to say that it was a pretty good show, despite it being 4 hours long. If I had to grade it on a scale, I'd probably say a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It was pretty solid. I think a lot of my complaints boil down to criticisms that I've had about any other award shows for the past decade, like the Grammys or the Oscars. Like I said, why was the show almost 4 hours long? That seemed like overkill right away. Like, I enjoyed mostly everything that was shown. I even enjoyed a lot of the live performances. I mean, anytime you'll get Sting from the Police to perform a Persona Golden song, like, that's pretty cool. But 4 hours is a lot of time that needs filling, and like I said, for the most part, they succeeded in doing what Jeff Keighley has always wanted this show to be. I feel like he's finally reached the pinnacle of what he always wanted this to do, right? Which was be essentially the Oscars for video games, and for the most part, the show's better, better than anything that's been shown at E3 for the past couple of years. But maybe that isn't the best way to gauge the show's quality, since being better than E3 at this point really isn't that hard of a task. But regardless, I wanted to speculate and theorize about two games in particular that were at the Game Awards that made my little DC comic fanboy heart flutter in excitement and anticipation. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's talk about these video games. First up is, of course, the highly anticipated return of Rocksteady with their new Suicide Squad game. It was a gameplay reveal trailer that was shown at the Game Awards, and in brief, I'll keep it to, it looks good, right? It's a little too early to really give my definitive opinion of, like, is this a banger or not, but we still definitely don't have a lot to go on aside from knowing it's just a third-person shooter with some pretty fluid-looking traversal mechanics. As of right now, we only see the 4 members of the squad: Deadshot, King Shark, Harley, and Captain Boomerang. And even in the short clips of gameplay, you can tell that each character will be playing differently from one another. For example, look at how they all traverse and move in these areas. Captain Boomerang is using some sort of teleportation tech. Harley is using what is clearly an Arkham Batman grapple hook. Deadshot's using his jetpack, and King Shark is moving similarly to how Hulk does in games like Ultimate Destruction and just jumping around from building to building. Obviously, each character has their own individual fighting style and unique weapons. I would also wager that each character has their own cooldown abilities, using attributes that are, stereotypical of the character. So, for example, Captain Boomerang's special is going to be something to do with boomerangs. Yeah, that was bad. Deadshot might involve, precision aiming or an extremely powerful shot from one of his weapons, or like cryo ammo, incendiary ammo, so on and so forth, right? Harley's gonna do something with her baseball bat. King Shark's probably gonna eat someone, right? However, despite, the gameplay looking cool and, the shooting looking fun, I still have some lingering questions that hopefully get answered within the next few months. For one, we still have no idea if this game is a live service game, which it has been rumored since the announcement of it, right? Even back when Jason Schreier sort of revealed what he knew about the game on Twitter, he had heard that it was a live service game, right? So, take that with a grain of salt. Take everything in this video with a grain of salt, right? This is all theory and speculation, right? We also really don't have an understanding of if there's any customization options, loot, skill points, crafting, etc., right? The original leaks back when this and Gotham Knight were revealed gave an outline for both of the games. And for the most part, the leak on Gotham Knights got everything right, except for one thing, because we haven't played the game yet, so we're not going to know this, but it was, if you play all the way to the end, you'll be able to play as Batman at a certain point, which makes sense if you know the Court of Owls storyline. And in terms for the Suicide Squad outline, it seemed pretty interesting, right? It said that it is a games as a service. It also said that you are not just going to be playing as these 4 characters, right? There will be other recruitable characters to the Suicide Squad, which makes sense given that, the squad is never just made up of 4 people. It's usually made up of multiple people, right? Usually people who are expendable and you know, cannon fodder in a lot of ways. We see at a certain point in the trailer Penguin running away, but only to be stopped when he is shocked by the same implanted device, usually in the squad members, seen in him, which is pretty interesting, right? And also in the original leak, they basically said that after you defeat members of the Justice League, they then too are recruited into the Suicide Squad, becoming playable. So once again, just a rumor. I'm not entirely sure that's going to happen, but if that is true, that's pretty fucking amazing. And I really hope that happens, because I would love to be playing as Superman taking down Brainiac, right? It would serve sort of the power fantasy we've always wanted from a Superman game, you know, that nobody's been able to do. And Rocksteady's a developer that I trust for the most part, right? Batman is my favorite character, for those who don't know. I have a video on my channel, if you go down my page, about this, about me basically making a love letter to Batman. So it's nice to see other members of the league getting shine. You know, I'm a big DC guy, so it's nice to see that they are doing a John Stewart Green Lantern. You know, Barry Allen is actually going to be Barry Allen in this, right? Clark is probably going to be Clark. It seems like Diana is full-on warrior princess, right? They're doing Brainiac, for God's sake. So I really hope that this turns out well. I have a lot of like hope and anticipation riding on this game. And as far as it being like a live service, that doesn't bother me. Live service games in general don't necessarily bother me. I think from a gameplay mechanic, right, from a level design in terms of how to make a game, I think theoretically they're really interesting devices to sort of view game design through, right? And they could do a lot of cool stuff if they keep up with it, and if they, you know, are fully dedicated to making this a quote-unquote, you know, live service game, right? It could be really cool, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. Overall, like I said, looks very good. It's definitely on my most anticipated list, but this next game that we're about to talk about absolutely blew me out of the water when I saw this trailer. So let's get into it. And by blew me out of the water, I couldn't believe, my eyes couldn't fathom what was on screen, okay? My DC fangirl heart was screaming, okay? This beautiful rendering of Diana, a perfect rendering, if you will, aka Wonder Woman. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 1/3 of the Trinity in DC Comics is finally going to be getting her own game, made by Monolith Productions, the studio best known for the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor / War games. And I am extremely excited by the prospect of this. Just to kind of give you what the tagline is so far of what the game is described as. It is a single-player, open-world action game that will do an original story set within the DC universe that allows players to become Princess Diana of Themyscira to help unite the Amazons and humans of her world, right? It will also feature the Nemesis system, which was obviously made popular by the Middle-earth games, which is a really impressive AI system that has yet to really be used, kind of because of the patent Monolith Studios put on the Nemesis system, so other studios can't really use it. But let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of like what I think this is going to be. So in terms of what this game is actually going to be, I think that it will be set in Themyscira, the homeland of the Amazons, obviously. I wouldn't be mad if they set it within a modern-day city, but I think Themyscira is a better setting for Diana's power set. You have to remember that, you know, she's half god, half Amazon, which basically means she's incredibly powerful. I mean, if she can take on Superman, you know, literally get headbutted by Superman and hold her own, that should give you a pretty good indicator of her power levels. As far as who you'll be fighting, I'd wager it's either going to be a rogue sect of Amazons or possibly the Greek pantheon, given Wonder Woman's histories with characters like Ares, Zeus, and Hercules. Not to say that those are the only enemies that you'll be fighting, right? You know, given Diana's mythical nature, I bet there'll be some monsters and otherworldly creatures that you'll be fighting. The real interesting bit, however, is probably the inclusion of the Nemesis system, for those who never played the Mordor games, the Nemesis system is this ingenious AI behavioral system that affect any NPC that was in the game, from their behavioral patterns, combat attributes, weaknesses, strengths, so on and so forth, right? The whole point of the system was to essentially make NPCs feel more alive than they ever have felt before, which, in my opinion, they succeeded in doing so, which is why before it was patented by WB Games strictly for Monolith Productions to use alone, it was being touted as this brand new revolutionary system for open world games, which essentially meant that it was a system you could have easily seen implemented in games like Assassin's Creed or the next Batman game, right? And it was really great, man. It was a system where, if fully fleshed out even further than what they did with what Monolith did in particular, it really could have changed video games. The problem is like I said, the patent. So only Monolith is able to do it. So hopefully with this new entry, I guess, in the Nemesis system, right, this new Wonder Woman game, hopefully they're either able to expand upon it and make it even better than before, given that it's going to be, from what I can understand, a next-gen title, right? PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One X. So hopefully it's really something special. But like I said, there's not a ton to go on, right? I can theorize all day. I hope that it's rated M. I hope that it's Diana chopping people's heads off. I hope that it's, you know, legit Wonder Woman power levels. I hope that they don't really hold back from the power fantasy that you would want from being Wonder Woman, right? And there's a lot of other things to attribute for, like, is she going to be able to fly? Is the truth of lasso going to play some part when it comes to the Nemesis system, like getting whatever NPC to come over to your side? Is it going to be like the Shadow of War games where, you know, let's say the whole island is evil rogue Amazon, and your job is like how in Shadow of War and Mordor, where, I mean, Shadow of War and Middle-earth, where you're supposed to, you know, take over with like the lasso of truth, you know, make them turn back to your side or something like that. I don't really know. I'm very interested. We don't know if this is like set within the Arkhamverse or anything like that. I'd wager it's probably not. I bet this is its own standalone thing. I bet there'll probably be some references to like Superman or Batman or obvious like DC Easter eggs, you know. I just really thought of something really cool too. What if it's Apocalypse? What if it's Darkseid you're fighting? That'd be pretty sick. But overall, yeah, man, this was just a quick little video I wanted to get out. In the beginning of the video, it said that, oh, the Game Awards just came out last week. That was 3 weeks ago. I've been busy. Life has happened. So thank you if you guys are still watching my content. I really appreciate it. This was just kind of a quick video. Like I said, I just wanted to put together really fast. I should have another video out this week, probably by Friday, which is, I'll just tell you right now, it's going to be me reacting to the third Batman trailer that came out. For those of you who aren't aware, I put a Batman video out a while ago that was just speculating and theorizing on what I believe the Matt Reeves movie / possible trilogy is going to be. And I just kind of want to give some updated thoughts. It'll probably be my last video on the Batman until the movie comes out, and then I'll most likely do a review or a spoiler cast with some people. But till then, thanks for watching and stay groovy.